SONY XBR 65X930D. This TV came to us for no power. The customer already ordered another power supply unit, but it didn't fix the problem. So this power supply works with the 24 volt. And so let's check here. We're gonna unplug. I don't see no standby light, nothing. Completely, the set is dead. So let's get the multimeter and switch the voltage DC. We put the black one on the ground. For the people they don't use the multimeter a lot, so we always put the black one on the ground. And we're gonna check here. You can see we have 24 volt. 24 volt is stable, is not going up and down, so that's good. And so there is a fuse over there. It's a white, let me flip the phone. This white fuse here, be sure you don't touch the metal. And we have 24, you can see it over there. So here, and we're going to check the output of this board here, because you can see the power supply is connecting to this, from here to here, then go this one is giving the voltage to the T-cone, here giving the power to the LED lights, and giving the power to this one, and this one is transferring the power to the main board. This is a bad design because it's kind of hard for you to figure out which board is causing the problem. It's not like Sony, we have a power board connect direct to the main board. When we don't have no power, we lock it direct on the power board, but no. In this one, we don't have the power. We don't know if the problem is here, or is here, or is in the main board. So let's keep checking the voltage here. The first pin, 0 volt. Second and third pin, 0 volt. 4, 0 volt. The fifth pin, 24. 6, 24. 7, 24. 8, 24. And this one is 0. So we have just 24 volt. That's all we have here. So here we have no voltage here. Maybe that's the ground. Here no voltage. No voltage. And 24 volt here. So we have 24 volt here. Alright, so we'll go to the other. So we have 24 volt that's coming to this board. Then we're going to check here. 0 volt in these pins. Here there is a voltage, but it's very low and keep going up and down. In these pins here, very little voltage. No volt here, no volt here, and 24 volt here. So we have just the 24 volt, but we don't have none of the other voltage. Okay. So basically this should be the ground. No voltage here. Let's see if I can put this one somewhere. We can check both of them at the same time. Checking and looking at the voltage. No voltage. No voltage. No voltage. 24 volt. So we have 24 volt, but we don't have the other voltages. So let's unplug the TV and we're gonna check. So this is the ground. Okay, look this. I check here, this is the ground. And the other side of this capacitor, this is the ground. Must be this is the ground. Yeah, so there is a short here. Let me unplug this cord here. And we're going to see if that the short is coming from the main board. Could be this a bad capacitor here. Nope. The capacitor is not the one is causing short. So this is the ground. This is not the ground. So the short is coming before the capacitor. So the line. This is the number one. The white one. So the white cord is the one is here. So here the short, that short is coming to this 0 ohm resistor, coming to these capacitors. You can see the short is here. Okay. Let me plug again the power. Alright. So this is a IC, and we have the input of the IC is these two capacitors, and this is the output of the IC. This is, I think this is a DC to DC step down converter, like to lower the voltage from the 24 to the other voltage, maybe like 3.3 or 12 volt or something like that. So we have the short here. Could be the short in these three capacitor, could be the short in this IC, because I can't find no short here. So now we get the problem somewhere here. So this is a good thing we find out there is a problem somewhere here. So let's more check. So here I connect the TV to the power. In this input capacitor we have 24 volt, but in the output here we have 0 volt. There is very little voltage is going up and down because there is a short somewhere here. So let's take this board, and I'm gonna remove this coil to figure out if there is a short here or here. If I remove this coil and this capacitor is still testing as a short, this is what caused the problem. Is one of these three capacitors. Good, we can find out which one is. If I remove this coil and the short from here is gone, but the side of this coil, the input of this coil is shorted to the ground, this means the IC. So let's do that. So here, like when I check in this capacitor, there is a short. So what we're going to do next, we don't know if this capacitor is short or this coil is short. When I check before the IC, there is no short. This is the input. This is 24 volt input. It's go to the IC, is transferred to the, I think, 3 volt and 12 volt, and is cleared, like filtered with this capacitor. We have a short here, but we don't have a short here. So the short between this IC and the capacitors. The connection between this IC and the capacitor is this coil. If I remove this coil and I found the short here in the capacitors, it means this capacitor is bad. If I remove this coil and there is no short in these capacitors, it means this is what is causing the short. So let's remove the coil. So here we remove, after we remove the coil, you don't see. So I didn't see that the camera wasn't showing. Here is packed with the stuff, but you can see I did remove the coil, and I'm going to check here in these capacitors. There is no short. You can see it in the multimeter. So here is the short. So I'm going to check here on the other side of the IC from the coil. We have a short here, but we don't have a short here. So the short is caused by the IC. So let me put this coil back, and I'm going to remove this IC. So now I'm going to remove the IC. So that's the IC, and so let's check for the short again. Of course, no short in the capacitors, and the other side of the coil, no short. So what is causing the short is this IC. So if you can get this replacement IC, you must fix this problem. If not, you're going to need to replace the whole board. So I'm going to check if we have in this junk board, if we have any IC that's working for the Sony boards. If not, I think we do have this whole board. So I just want to show you the troubleshooting for you to get this. So after I removed the IC, so I just want to be sure it's the capacitors or the IC, and let's test it now. Alright, so the first thing I did remove the coil, and I did test here in the capacitors. It was no short. So basically these three capacitors, that's not the one is causing the short. So next one, we check I removed the IC, this one here, and let's check for short. The short is gone. And when I did remove this coil, I did check between the ground to the coil to this side, and there is a short. But when I checked the capacitor, it was no short. So definitely this IC, it was causing the short. The model number of this IC is, if you can see it, is a P25C63. So this is switching IC between 24 volt to 3.3 and 12 volt. So to take the back cover, after you remove all the screws, We need to get this one up, this one here, then we remove this part. Yeah, in this TV that we're going to use it for part. So this TV left here, someone doesn't want to repair it, and we can take the part from it. So here, like you remember this capacitor, if you remember this capacitor, it was short. The other side of the capacitor is good, so there is no short here. So this board, it will be good to try it. So I put the board here and I push the power button. We have the light. That's great. We didn't have that light before. And yeah, I need to fix this connector, put it all the way. I don't see no backlight from looking from these holes, but I do see some lights here. That's great. Yeah, we have some data on the picture. You can see the time 6. Yeah, we have HDMI number 3. Great. So the TV turns on now and it works. And let me check some voltage here for you to know what voltage is coming from this board. So on the main board side, let me switch the voltage here. Okay, that's a 3.3 volt. That's the pin was shorted. Pin number 4, 12 volt. Yeah, now we have the 12 volt and the 3.3. There is an idea, if you can't get this IC, how we can save this TV. You know that DC to DC, the little board, the DC to DC converter, like a thumb drive size, you can connect to that board the input 24 volt and the output adjust. You're going to need two boards. You adjust the output to 3 volt and the other output to the 12 volt. And this is how you get the voltage. Let me try, because this is 2 levels here, the top and the bottom. So let's check all. This is, I'm going to keep it for my record in case if I got any TV like this one and I can't have this board in stock to replace it. And I did check for this IC, I couldn't find the replacement for it. This is what I'm going to do. This is going to help me in the future if I see this TV. So the top of the connector from the top of the board, 3.3, the first one. Second one, 0 volt. Third one, 12 volt. 4, 12 volt. 6 wire 0 volt. The 7 wire or the white one is a 3 volt over there. Now we go to the bottom of the connector. The first from the top. 0 volt. 0 volt, the second pin from the top. 24 volt. 0 volt. This is 0 volt. Alright. So yeah, the TV work, and this is all for this video. Please subscribe to help this channel, and we'll see you next one. Yeah, this TV looked like it was in the storage. A lot of dust over there. And yeah, the TV works. Screen is on. And it's good to go. Just need to clean up this dust.